the next step is to make a calyx. We are going to make calyx out of a darker, well in my case darker shade of denim, back it with lightweight fabric, either lightweight silk or lightweight cotton, whatever you have prepared, and then if you have the tools you can shape it with flower shaping tools and get something like this, or you can use your fingers. I'll show an alternative way if you don't have the tools, so you can give a little bit of shaping to your part. So prepare your template for the calyx and be ready to trace it on your fabric. Templates normally or in flower making go on the bias, so it means at 45 degrees. So if you fold your fabric on the diagonal, it means the template should go like this, or like this, basically being more economic with the fabric. So I'm going to trace it with this pencil, which seems to work relatively well. It's quite dark denim. I will need my lines until later, so at this point I'm going to just cut out roughly. Without detail, because first we're going to back this part with another layer of fabric. This gives more body and also stops it from fraying. Even if you don't have tools, you can still do some shaping with your hands with this part. So on the backing fabric, it will also go on the bias, so this will allow us to stretch it a little bit and mold it around our shape in the future. You will need some PVA glue. If you have a more liquid type of PVA glue, prepare that. I'm going to just apply a thin layer here. Make sure it's really thin, although denim is quite forgiving in this respect, so if it goes onto the right side it's not the end of the world, but try to be neat nonetheless. We can practice on calyxes. They are not as noticeable, the leaves will be a bit more exposed, so you need to be neater there. So right, I've applied my glue. I can spread it with my finger a bit better. Make sure the whole shape is covered. Keep a damp cloth at your desk so that you can wipe your fingers from extra glue. You can also use it to wipe the surfaces. Right, once the glue has been applied, you can stick it onto the backing fabric, either this or your cotton voile, it doesn't matter in this case. Use dry cloth to press and make sure there are no air bubbles anywhere in between the two fabrics. You will need such calyx for each flower that you are making. So, come back, press well, make sure the two layers of fabric have really fused together completely. Now it's the time to cut it out within the pen lines. Make sure you've cut off your markings. You can make slightly deeper cuts a little bit between the sepals. This might help when sticking, gluing the calyx in place, or you can do it later. If you're making a lot of calyxes, straight away, make sure you're placing them into a plastic bag so they don't dry out too quickly, especially if you are planning on shaping them with flower shaping tools. Right, it's nearly there. This is a classic calyx for a rose on a stem. Right, so once you've cut it out, you can either heat up a tool and shape it with a tool, or you can use your fingers if you don't have the tool. You can also try and use a pair of tweezers, whatever you have at your disposal, to give it a little bit of shaping. So if you don't have the tools, what you can do is you can roll the tips of the calyxes between your fingers and kind of stretch them a bit. It will at least give some volume and some definition to these tips. So like this, whilst the fabric or the calyx is still relatively wet with the glue. So once it's dried, the fabric will remember the shape. You can also use a pair of tweezers. Run the tweezers carefully in the middle. So that's also giving extra definition. You can see it's looking already much more interesting compared to these flat ones. This is one option. If you don't have the tools. In case if you have the tools, then we can use them to actually shape our petals. I'm going to heat up a tool and show how to do it with tools for those of you who have them, and then we can get on with assembling the flower. So I'm using one of these. Use something like this or similar to give some definition to a calyx. Once you have warmed up your tool, you can start shaping the calyx. This is a medium pad. Use a pad that you normally use for these jobs. So we're just going to run the tool slowly on all the edges of the calyx. As you're doing it, you can put more accents on the tips so that they curl up nicely. Denim is quite thick, and so it might require extra shaping compared to other lightweight fabrics. So do it slowly. All the shaping is done on the inside, wrong side of the calyx, where we have the backing fabric. And just come back to the point where you have started. So once you've shaped it, it should look like this. If you want, you can go back and do extra shaping in the tips to curl them up a little bit more if you want. It's nice when they curl around the rose flower. here is a calyx that is ready to be used, and you will need one of these for each rose that you're making.